Hey, what's poppin', Sly? Nothing, fine, perfect. Y'all heard that Lil Wayne album? It was trash. It was garbage. Oh man, it was so bad. That album was so bad. Lil Wayne lost some points on me. Anyways, we're gonna give it up to my man Charlie Kirk today. Charlie Kirk is gonna react to College Girl proves how morally lost people have become. All right, I agree, Charlie Kirk to a degree, but let's see. Oh wait. Okay. Anyways. Let's see. Alright. Yeah, let's go.
The world is waking up to the power of gold. National banks are racing to secure it to gold. Shouldn't you be looking into doing that too?
Alright, let's get it.
I don't believe that we could use Christianity as I don't believe that we could use Christianity as a good moral basis for certain laws, considering that historically speaking, Christianity has committed many atrocities. I mean, the Christian Crusade.
Is he just focused, or you know, you got to be on something when you come to these college campuses, because you be talking to some dumb ass people. So it'd be like you got to be like wired to a degree. But she about to talk about Christianity.
It's killed many people, and they destroyed a lot of our written texts that didn't agree with Christian points, like, for example, the works of Sappho.
The works of what?
Sappho.
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, anyways, I understand that this is Catholicism, but also the schools in Canada that abuse many Native American people. I just don't see how we could argue that Christianity is the great moral authority that you're saying it is for making these laws when arguably they've done a lot of horrible things.
What moral code do you live by?
I'm a Buddhist, so I mean...
She's nervous though. Come on, Charlie, take it easy on her. Oh, she's nervous. You can tell.
So it's all about yourself.
No, it's just about being, well, I guess you could say that. But
I know, yeah, I know Buddhism. So let's play it out. What is the top accomplishment of a Buddhist?
Enlightenment.
I guess just to be a good person and...
No, to reach nirvana, you know that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yes, but not everyone can reach nirvana.
I know, but you want to try to ascend, right? And so it's all about yourself, all inward looking, right? To try to limit your touch with the outside world, that the outside world is dirty, and it's, you know, it's kind of polluted.
I don't believe, as a Buddhist, that's not how I was taught, and I don't think it's fair for you to argue for Buddhism in that sense.
Oh no, that's what
you're
Buddhism.
Not a Buddhist.
No, I know plenty about Buddhism. Like, so Buddhism, as it's written, is that the world is contaminated. We must remove ourselves from the world, and we're going to spiritually ascend ourselves by meditation.
But there's people who don't believe in that.
Well, then you don't believe in Buddhism. That's fine. It's okay.
Buddhism, and they believe in all different kinds of things.
So that's fine.
Yeah, because like, to be honest, there are Buddhists that can be Christian. There are, like, you know. So he's kind of wrong, but kind of right here.
So can
Christianity, I'm just not in that sect.
Got it. So can you what moral way do you think society should live by? Not Christianity. So what way should we live by?
I think that it's not as much about morality as much as societal, and it's just societal needs. Like, for example, like abortion, we can't argue that, you know, Christianity is the reason that we should not allow abortions, when clearly there's both a medical and a societal need for abortion.
There's not a medical reason to kill babies, right? So that doesn't exist.
Okay, well, I have one example for that. My mother had Bassa previa, and they had offered her an abortion because birthing the baby would not only kill her, and, like, if she went into labor, because the placenta had split into many little veins and covered her birth canal, if she ever went into labor, and my little brother at the time, if he had pushed on the birth canal to exit her,
other people enjoy.
Damn. All right, let's get it.
She would have died. Both her and her son would have died.
Did your brother survive or no?
I want to continue with this point. So she was offered the opportunity for an abortion because not only was she the main breadwinner of her family, but she is also raising 2 kids as well already.
Y'all looking at Charlie? He just be. I'm paying attention to what she's saying, but like, he just be staring off into space awkwardly.
The right to an abortion is
Everybody just
possibly
focused.
could have saved her life.
Okay, maybe just focus
She
on
did
what
end
you're
up
saying.
surviving, but not. I don't think that we should limit the ability to get an abortion to other women in her
Wait,
situation.
hold on, time out. So your brother,
So her argument is basically that at the cost of the mother, that abortion should be allowed to happen. That's rational. Like at the cost of a mother, an abortion should be allowed to happen.
no, now.
Huh?
Is your brother survive or no?
Yes, he did.
Wait, so
but
aren't you glad your brother wasn't aborted? I mean, come on.
I don't.
What kind of argument is that?
I don't
Aren't you
think
glad
that-
your brother's not dead?
It's not that. I'm glad that he wasn't aborted.
Yes,
but
so that's
also,
still we're
like,
pro-life. That's what we want. We
But
don't.
also, she's glad that she has a mother. So, the consequence could have been she could have lost her mother in the process of that, and that's what she's talking about healthcare. I hope he doesn't try to spin away from that point that she just made.
I want your brother to be aborted. Imagine how many
it's-
millions other like him
Yes,
are
but
aborted.
if my mom died,
She didn't. It's not even a good argument.
Well, there's so many people that did.
No,
There's
that's not
super-
correct. I said that earlier. It only happens a couple dozen times a year, and the baby could be delivered by
People
C-section.
with Vasoprevia have a much higher rate of death than other women
Yes,
who are
that
pregnant.
happens
and that's-
maybe a couple hundred times a year, and there's 1.5 million abortions every single year. This
Yes,
is on the
but
extreme of the
if we
extreme.
have to take away abortions, then we're taking away from everybody, even the people who have a medical need for abortion, where the baby is going to kill them if they come out.
Again, I can
There's-
grant you that, fine, we'll have those exceptions. Can we make abortion illegal for the other circumstances?
No, because
Oh, so
then-
maybe it's not about those circumstances.
No,
You're
it
just
is about
using
those,
it. Oh,
it is
really?
about those circumstances, because when we take away those rights from everyone and we go into a hospital and there's an emergency need to remove a baby, then we have to prove that there's an actual emergency need instead of just it being an automatic right. Then doctors
You
aren't
don't
going
have
to
a right.
And here's the other thing, like, I'm wondering, like, so Charlie, you want abortions to be illegal and women to bring more children into the world, right? We know why white people really want this, but like, well, I mean, white people really want this. We want more. They want more babies birthed. They want to get out immigrants and birth more white babies into the population to grow their population. Not realizing that there's 69% of the population, and white people will always be the dominant population in America. It's not going to ever change. Like, that white flight shit is bullshit. However, though, so women start having these babies, these poverty babies, right? Where in poverty, most crime, most kids grow up. Most kids in America will, not most, but a lot of kids in America will grow up in poverty. So what do you want, the government to take care of them more? So you want them to get up and go get a job and start doing all the kind of shit like that? How are you going to help with the women who can't fully do what they need to do for their baby? Like, I'm curious to know, like, I'm curious to know, like, are we going to add more welfare programs into this? We're going to add more, because there's not enough money to go around, you know? It's seeming like not enough money to go around. So what would we do if all these women started birthing their babies? Like, would there be enough? Would the government help more, you know? I know you guys think government should stay out of it, but it's like, some people actually need government assistance in order to help them get by. Like, daycare is fucking expensive. Daycare is fucking expensive, and everybody don't got Charlie Kirk money, you know? So daycare is fucking expensive. Hell, and two households is expensive. You need 2 incomes flowing into one household. So I'm just curious to know, like, all these babies being birthed, who's gonna take care of them? You know, how are we gonna take care of them? You know, I don't know.
Right to murder another human.
And that's another reason why I think the birth rate is declining. I don't think it has anything to do with abortion. I think it's declining because life is becoming too expensive. But I'm just curious to know what the conservative would say to that. Like, what would we do on the other side of it? You guys can comment down below what you would say.
being.
It's not necessarily a right. It's just
Is
the
it-
ability to.
So
be
when your
able-
brother was in your mom's womb, was your brother a human being?
I mean, it's. That's. I don't want to argue that. I think that we can
No, it's a
argue
very
like that
not an
for
argument,
a
it's a
long
question. When
time,
your
but I don't
brother
think
was
it's
in-
useful.
When your brother was in the womb, was it a human being?
Of course.
I believe that on my moral compass, I believe that he was, but I don't think that my moral compass should dictate the medical needs
Got
and
it.
the
So what
societal
moral
needs of
compass?
others.
Fine. What moral compass should we use to write laws then?
Not necessarily a single one. I think that everyone's moral compass is different,
Well,
and
which
that we
one
should
wins?
be able to.
Which one should say, Let's, for
The
example.
one that supports women the most, the one that
By
allows
what
women to
standard,
get
though?
medical.
Why is that? Why is that good? I mean, by what book do you reference? By some moral standard you're appealing to. What is it?
Sorry, what?
No, yeah. By what moral standard do you say that we should have health care for women? Why? What? At some point, you're basing this on something. What is it?
I think that it's not even a moral standard. It's in
It
the
is.
Constitution. Women should have equal rights, and that includes the right to.
You do not have a
choice.
right to murder another because life is the first right. We've been through that, but I'm saying, but at some point you say you don't want Christianity to have the moral source. So I ask you, by what moral code should we live by?
Well,
Islam.
I don't think there's a defining moral code that we should live by. We all
Of course
have
there is.
different-
Should we help the sick?
Well, yes,
Should we help
but
the poor?
there's okay, but my
Should
moral
we
code
feed the
as
hungry?
a Buddhist is that I should never kill an animal, and many Christians hunt.
Conservatives don't believe that. They believe the poor should get up and get a job. They don't believe that.
Many people, kill animals for a living. That's how
I'm
they
not
make
talking
a
about your
living.
personal.
I'm saying that to say because a lot of conservatives be evangelical Christians, but they don't believe in anything that Jesus stood for. Jesus didn't believe in making the money that Charlie Kirk makes. Jesus didn't believe in that. Jesus didn't believe in a lot of things that conservatives do believe in. Jesus didn't believe in weapons. He believed in loving thy neighbor, not carrying a weapon to protect yourself from the neighbor. Jesus believed in immigration. He sure did believe in immigration. Read the book.
Society has to make decisions, right?
Yeah, and when society makes decisions, they should account for the fact that everyone has a different moral compass. If we're a society that, first of all, a modern society, we shouldn't be basing our moral compass off of a book made thousands of years ago.
Well, first of all, Buddhism's very old too, but contradicting.
I agree.
Yeah,
That's why I don't think Buddhism. I don't think we should ban people
there's
going
a
out to
contradiction
hunt
here, though.
because
Time
I
out.
don't believe in killing
At
animals.
some point, we have to decide what laws to make. We have to say something.
And I think the laws should be dependent on
what?
how we can most benefit the people already existing in our society.
Well, okay, but don't people in the womb exist?
That's you could argue that for so long. I don't think it's really useful when we're
Very
talking
useful.
about.
Are you glad you weren't aborted? Are you glad you weren't aborted?
I'm not. I mean, if it was something that if aborting me would have benefited my mother far more than having me would have, then I wouldn't be necessarily angry about it. It's not.
See, I'm glad your mom did not abort you because I think life is beautiful. And I want to give that gift to as many people as possible.
Yeah, but you're also in the same turn taking that gift away from women. If a woman has a medical need and her life is in danger,
I've already granted. Let's say abortion is legal for medical circumstances. 1.4 million.
But then when we get rid of abortion for those exceptions, right? We need to think about how it is applied in the actual.
Abortion is the #1 form of birth control in the country right now. Over 1.4 million abortions every single year for non-rape, non-incest, non-life of the mother.
It's really the $1 form of birth control in this country.
Well, that we know
I
of.
highly doubt
Actually,
that.
if you think about it, if you think about the day after pill,
that's crazy.
right? If you think about the
People
day
are spending
after pill,
$50 for abortion instead of the pull-out method, getting a condom. You really think? I'm sorry, in your twisted worldview, you really think the #1 form of birth control is abortion?
Plan B.
I'm sorry, that's crazy.
No, Plan B. Right? Abortifacients, at-home abortions, chemical abortions, surgical abortions. All those can be defined as abortifacients. Yes, you might be right. Okay, you might say condoms are more than that, but abortion has become a form of birth control. Can you agree with that?
I mean, anything that. Well, all of it, obviously, anything can be considered birth control. I mean, me deciding to not have sex is birth control. I mean,
that's what more people should do.
What?
Yeah.
I don't know, because I don't think that that's necessarily something that we can police. Like, what, you're going to go into people's
I'm not
bedrooms and,
policing, but I'm saying, though, if you're going to decide to have sex, don't kill the baby after you have sex. Pretty simple. Because you made a decision to get pregnant.
I don't think that that's necessarily a good argument. I mean, there's more nuance to that.
There's no nuance to it. A human life exists. I can't murder someone in the crowd. Why? Because murder is wrong. You can't murder someone in a womb. Why? Because murder is wrong. Thank you for your time.
It's all to it, man. I don't disagree fully with the abortion argument that the other side makes. I hear them. I just don't know. I don't know. I try to be extremely careful with that conversation. But anyways, y'all, I'm out. Charlie Kirk. Shout out Charlie Kirk. I'm gonna subscribe. And peace.